Hey everyone, we are at San Diego Comic-Con for the fourth year in a row. We are reviewing the Revenge of the Sith 2-pack, possibly the most anticipated Black Series release of all time. I'm so happy to be back at the con. You will have to excuse my audio. I'm recording this on my laptop. I don't have my mic with me. I wasn't planning on making a video, but I decided to go ahead and do so since I was able to get this pack at the Hasbro booth. You can go ahead and buy this set, which is cool, and they also have a ton of the reveals on display. And tomorrow we will have even more reveals, including the new HasLab for the Vintage Collection. I wonder what it will be. There's a lot of stand there. I think that's a clue. But of course, we're not here to talk about upcoming releases. We're talking about what we have in hand today, which is the most anticipated Black Series release of all time, probably the Anakin and Obi-Wan 2-pack from Revenge of the Sith, because we've just been waiting for redos of these characters, and then to get this diorama piece on top of all of that is just so insane. It feels like just a few days ago that this was revealed, but I guess it was kind of a few weeks to a few months. You can see all of those wonderful additional accessories over on the side. We can go ahead and pop these out and get these ready to review. Look at the alternate hands. How hard is that? This Anakin looks so good. It feels great in hand. It has a nice matte finish on everything. The leather looks like leather. This figure overall, I just really don't have any complaints. The tabard was a little bit bent below the waist there from how it was packaged, but that should settle over time. Now, because I'm not in my normal recording studio, I'm just at an Airbnb, I don't have the best audio right now. I'm not going to be able to give you the kind of quality that I'm used to, but I'm just going to quickly go through everything here. Hopefully you guys will all have this set in hand pretty shortly if you are interested in getting it. Here's a little look at that articulation under the arms. Of course, because of the tunics there, you don't get as much of a range of the butterfly joints as you would otherwise, but that's okay. I'm still pretty happy with how it goes. And instead of having cloth down here like we see on a lot of other Anakins, we have this very soft plastic that feels a little bit softer than anything I've seen in the Black Series before. But playing around with this new articulation, it does feel really nice. We've got a lot of movement at the waist there. Under the skirt, we don't have the thigh swivel, which is kind of disappointing, but we do have a pretty decent range of motion there. I feel like it's a little bit better than what we've seen in those figures recently without the thigh swivel. And we do have the knee boot swivel and then kind of what you'd expect at the feet. Now, it's very cool to see this figure implementing the new ball joints at the hands here. Let's take a closer look. So we see the ball joint that we've seen on a couple other figures, but then we also have what we had with like the new Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, where the wrist is also on its own peg so it can move independently within the sleeve. Very cool to see. And wow, this likeness to Hayden Christensen is just incredible. Probably the best likeness of Anakin I've ever seen on a figure. This is the angry Sith head. It does pop off pretty easily if you have Marvel Legends or any other figures with alternate heads. It is one of the better versions of that swap. And then here is his standard head, which also looks really nice. And then, of course, we have to look at Obi-Wan Kenobi here. I saw a lot of people saying that his robes looked a little bit too gray. I definitely see that. They look okay to me. He definitely has a light beige, but I can see that criticism. He doesn't have the separate piece at the shoulders like Anakin does, just because I guess he doesn't really need it with the style of his tunic. And we see similar ball joints at the wrist to what Anakin had, as well as articulation at the elbow and swivel at the thigh. These are engineered very similarly, and I haven't noticed any differences between them. One critique on this figure is the waist piece feels really big. It feels kind of like when I've done custom figures in the past and kit bashed two figures together. Like, it almost feels like it's not supposed to be on this figure here. I was trying to get it to lay in a spot that looked correct, and overall it just kind of felt a little bit off. I am more than pleased with the head sculpt here. Here we have his hair a little bit messier. I would have liked a little bit more expression in his face rather than just kind of pretty much the same expression with messy hair. And then here he is as he appears throughout most of the rest of the movie, looking a little bit more neat. Then we have a little look at Obi-Wan's lightsaber here, as well as Anakin's. These look pretty similar to what we've seen in the past. And as far as the diorama pieces go, this is so beautiful. We have such a nice metallic finish. It's got like a wash and some airbrushing on it. And I am just overall so impressed at how well this came out. This kind of exceeded my expectations seeing it in person. I'm someone that likes to customize a lot of my Black Series things, but this is something that I think is perfect right out of the box. I don't really have anything that I would change. This droid maybe could look a little bit more withered or metallic, but overall it feels really good in a hand. And there's even some articulation at the arms there, so you can kind of wiggle them back and forth if you want to change the display up a little bit. And on the fire piece here, there are some tracks for the two arms on the right to go in, and there's a little peg right in the middle there, so it will hold into place and stay sturdy. The only thing was that it did feel like the left side was just a little bit too short, so when you put it down, it tends to lean to the left just a little bit. Not the biggest deal in the world, but just something to be aware of. The larger platform here is very easy to figure out how to get it on, and it feels very sturdy. Like you can really push down on it and it doesn't feel finicky. So when you're posing the figures, you have some room to really push onto it. And then this flame piece actually fits in 3 places. It can fit in right there. You can put it in this little section here, and you can, if you twist it just right, you'll actually feel it kind of like click into place where it'll sit nicely. And then there's actually a third spot on the back here that, again, once you just kind of move it around a little bit, you'll just feel it kind of like sit into place where it's supposed to be, and that feels really nice. Also included are a series of pegs that allow you to place the figure's foot into place without having the peg showing when you don't actually have a figure there, so you'll never see the raw peg sticking out. We also have the clash effect that has slots for 2 different lightsabers to slide in, and then we have all of these different switch blades, so 8 lightsaber blades in total. You can see the ones on the left look a little bit lighter than the ones on the right. I don't know if that's intentional or just a production difference. There is a little bit of a problem here in that the ball joint, at least on my figure, is quite loose because it doesn't have that hinge, so this blade effect is actually a little bit too heavy for him to properly support. Even with the hand adjusted, I did find it kind of flopping around, which was really frustrating to get it at the angle that I wanted. So what do you think? Is this the best Black Series release of all time? I think it may be. If there's something else, please let me know what you think. I don't have any info on where to buy this just yet other than at the con, but I would be really surprised if this isn't readily available to purchase on Hasbro Pulse or elsewhere online after the con is over. I hope my laptop microphone wasn't too annoying for you to listen to. If you have any tips on how to make this sound better, please let me know. Thanks for watching my Airbnb version of a review. I'm gonna go play with these figures some more. I'll be at the con the rest of the weekend. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, hit that like button, and I'll see you all next time.